Things that bring misfortune. This story happened to me, or rather, it happened in my family. When I was in the 3rd grade, my mother passed away due to illness. A month after her funeral, my mother's sister, i.e., my aunt, came to our house with her son. My aunt had divorced about a year before my mother's death, and my father must have felt tired of raising his 3 sons by himself. They decided to help each other out since they had a relationship with each other. Well, my brother and I were overjoyed to finally be able to eat a decent meal. Let me backtrack a bit. It was just before my aunt came to our house. It was Saturday and my father was off tomorrow, so I was watching TV with him. It was already late at night, so my brother and sister went to bed, and I was dozing off, leaning against my father. To explain, the house is a 3-story house with the entrance on the 2nd floor up an outside staircase. The house is a 3-story house. As soon as you go up the entrance, there is a staircase leading to the 3rd floor in front of you. The living room is on the left. The room on the right is the kitchen, and there is a staircase leading to the 1st floor at the back of the kitchen. There is no door between the living room and the kitchen. I am watching TV in the living room, and my brothers are sleeping on the 3rd floor. I was getting tired of watching TV while my father was engrossed in watching TV, so I turned my head toward the kitchen. The kitchen without lights on was eerie and not very pleasant to look at, and it didn't look any different than usual. I was afraid to keep staring at it, so I turned my attention back to the TV again. Suddenly, something caught my eye. Something was protruding from the stairs leading to the 3rd floor. Upon closer inspection, it appeared to be a small foot. They were smaller than my feet as a child, barefoot and somehow pale. There are no children younger than my brother, who is in the 1st grade. First of all, my brother was supposed to be sleeping on the 3rd floor. I wondered, and pointed at my father and asked, "Hey, what's that?" I pointed at him and asked, "Hey, what's that?" He looked again at the stairs and saw that there was no foot there. It was really there. I thought I had been sleepwalking, and eventually went upstairs to sleep with my father that night. I wake up the next morning. I don't remember the exact time, but I think it was pretty early since everyone was still asleep except me. After leaving the room and going to the bathroom next door to do my business, I headed to the living room to play a game I had almost finished yesterday. I picked up the game console on the TV, Pokémon W, I think, and turned my body toward the stairs to go back to my room. At that moment, the thought of yesterday's foot came to my mind rapidly. I was sweating strangely and couldn't move my body. I often hear that kinbaku is caused by muscle stiffness, but I still remember this moment vividly. I should say that I could not move, but I could not move at all. There was a black thread coming out from the front door toward the stairs. I was surprised, but as I stared at it for a while, it started to bunch up, and that's when I finally realized what it was. It was hair. It was quite long hair. As soon as I realized that it was hair, it appeared. She was dressed in a white kimono, had long black hair, and looked like a slender woman, although I could not see her face from the side because her hair was in the way. I felt, even as a child, that she was obviously in trouble. I was so scared that I couldn't even speak. She didn't even look at me once, but slowly walked to the stairs and disappeared to the 3rd floor. After the woman disappeared, I stood there for a while in a daze, then suddenly came to myself and got scared, dashed up the stairs, and jumped into the room where everyone was sleeping. Thinking back now, I wonder how I could have gone in the direction where the woman disappeared. I don't really remember what happened after that because it was so long ago, but I think I just fell asleep. In the end, I thought that no one would believe me, so I decided to keep the story to myself and forget about it, and nothing unusual happened for a while after that. If it had been up to this point, people would have said, "It's just your imagination," or "It's a common thing," and that would have been the end of it. But later, when I was in the 1st year of junior high school, I heard a story from my aunt, which was very unfortunate for me. I think it was shortly before I was in the first grade. Eventually, my aunt and father, who lived together, got married. Well, it was only natural that my aunt had a child. One day, a few days after I found out that my aunt had a child in her belly, I had a strange dream. I came home from school, went up to the third floor, and entered my room on the left side. No one was in the room and I threw my bag down. Then, for some reason, I opened the closet where my clothes were stored and threw the clothes hanging inside out. Of course, at the time I couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality, and I had no idea why I was doing it, but I just kept doing it over and over. After taking out my clothes, I went into the closet. It was a small, dark, ordinary closet, but for some reason there was a staircase in the back that should not have been there. I walked up the stairs, found a door, and went inside. Inside was a child's room, I guess, with lots of baby toys, and on the ceiling was a guy, I don't know his name, who often soothed babies, spinning around and around. I went further into the room and found a large bed wrapped in curtains. I approached the bed and moved the curtains out of the way and peeked into the bed. The moment I looked in, my heart palpitated. There was a newborn fetus lying on the bed, covered in blood. Oh my God! I woke up in a sweat, making strange noises. At first I couldn't tell it was a dream because it seemed so real, but I was relieved when I rummaged around in my closet and confirmed that the stairs were gone. The dream was strangely vivid, and although I thought it was inappropriate, I casually told my aunt about it that evening. When I finished, she looked at me seriously and asked me if it was a boy or a girl. A girl? She asked me. No, I don't know. I said, no, I don't know. I thought I should be worried, but my aunt seemed to be worried about something else. I didn't tell you because I thought you would be scared, but I'm going to tell you because it might have something to do with the dream you had. You know, I used to have a dog named Anne, remember? Oh, I remember you. Anne, a pseudonym, is a toy poodle who has been in our house since before I was born. She died of an illness shortly before my mother's cancer was discovered. Before Anne died of the disease, my sister, my mother, said something strange. Weird? Yeah. I heard that at midnight, a little boy and a little girl run around the caged bird's head and sing a song about it. Oh, you mean the song about the bird in the cage? That's it. At that time, my sister and I didn't pay much attention to it, but after Anne died, we found out that her mother had cancer, right? Then she started calling me every day in the middle of the night like a crazy person. She's singing again, she's trying to take me away, Anne, they took you instead of me. They took you instead of me. The doctor said she didn't have long to live, so I thought she was delirious, but actually, something strange happened to me after I came here after my sister's death. This is where my aunt told me the story. My aunt was sleeping in her bedroom on the first floor when she heard running noises coming from upstairs. She thought the kids were playing around, even though it was already 3 a.m., so she went upstairs. When my aunt went upstairs, the footsteps ran away to the third floor. My aunt thought it was definitely children, so she went up to the third floor, but then she felt something strange. The house is quite old and the sound of the door opening and closing is rather loud. You can always tell when a door opens or closes. Despite this, the doors to the bathroom, Japanese-style room, and Western-style room were all completely closed. My aunt opened all the rooms and checked if the children were sleeping, but they were all sound asleep. Thinking it was just her imagination, she went to the kitchen to drink some water and then went downstairs. At that time, she turned around to look at the front door. There, for a moment, she clearly saw a boy and a girl, about the height of kindergarteners, dressed in red and blue kimonos, disappear into the wall. She then heard the faint sound of a child's laughter. When I told my aunt about the foot and the woman I had seen in the past, she told me that she had seen the woman as well. But when I jokingly asked her, "Wasn't that woman's spirit your mother?" I was scared when she replied with a straight face, "That was not my sister." For some reason she didn't tell me why she said it wasn't my sister. My aunt is psychic and has told me many scary stories about her experiences when she was young, so if she and my mother saw it, there might be something in this house after all. In the end, my dream was just a dream, and a healthy baby boy was born, but then another strange thing happened. In the spring when my brother turned 4 years old and I was in my second year of high school, my aunt was diagnosed with cancer. My aunt got cancer. To be precise, I think she said it had metastasized. Thanks to early detection, the surgery was successful, but what I am going to tell you is what my aunt told me while she was in the hospital. Before my brother was born, that is, when my aunt's baby was much older, she was told by the doctor that her baby was a twin. However, after a few months, the twins were attached to each other and became one child. The doctor told her that if one of the twins was smaller than the other, one of them might absorb the other and stick together. Well, the child was born safely, so the aunt didn't think anything of it, but it was when the younger brother was about 3 years old. Although he was only 3 years old, my brother was able to speak very well, though not very well. However, it seems that during that time, his younger brother was laughing a lot in an empty space. If he was only laughing, he was talking. My aunt, who was curious, asked my brother, "Who are you talking to?" And he answered, "Mine-chan." My aunt became more and more curious and asked, "Who is this Mine-chan?" She asked. "Mine-chan is Yukun's auntie." She said casually, "Mine-chan is Yukun's Nei-chan, and we went swimming together in Mama's tummy cage." That is when my aunt remembered. She remembered that this child had originally been a twin. There was no way a 3-year-old could lie like this, and there was no way my brother could know because he had never told anyone but my father that he was a twin. This was the first time I knew, and my father said he had never told anyone either. This concludes this story. Thank you for listening to the end.